Alright guys, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about how 1 inch is severely undervalued. That's right, it is actually a $2.25 billion sleeper. And that question is going to be, will 1 inch be the next Uniswap? Because right now, as I'm filming this, we actually experienced a deep dive where Bitcoin lost about 9K. So it fell down to about $40,000. And when Bitcoin falls, so does all the other altcoins, because the altcoins tend to follow the price movement of Bitcoin. So when we want to look at the prices of altcoins, for example, 1 inch, Theta, Holochain, Ethereum, we gotta first take a look at Bitcoin and what Bitcoin is doing. And since Bitcoin is falling, so has 1 inch. So this might be a great time for you to actually get into 1 inch at a very, very low price at pretty much the bottoms and ride the ride up. And let me tell you this right now, guys, the $2.25 billion valuation, that's not my price prediction. That is what value big investors with a lot of capital are putting on the 1 inch network. So that's what we're really going to discuss today. So if you're into 1 inch or you're looking to get into 1 inch, then you don't want to miss this video because you're going to get a lot of nuggets out of this one. But before we get in, can you please do me this one favor and smash the like button and smash the subscribe button before we jump into this video? All right, you got that done? All right, now let's get into it. All right, so the question we want to first start asking is, why is 1 inch worth $2.25 billion? Well, what recently happened is that 1 inch raised $175 million as the DeFi platform readies itself to launch a new set of institutional products. The Decentralized Exchange and Liquidity Protocol announced this funding on Wednesday, which is basically the first week of December 2021. And what they mentioned in the article is that investors valued the 1 inch network at $2.25 billion. So it's not me giving you that figure. It's investors, guys with a lot of capital and power. Now, the Series B was led by Amber Group with over 50 additional investors, including the following: Jane Street, Van Eck, Fenbushi Capital, and Alameda Research, which is really, really important, Celsius, Nixo, Tribe Capital, and Gemini Frontier Fund. So this is huge, but why is it huge? Why is it huge? It is because Alameda Research is one of the investors. And why is that big? Because Alameda Research is actually owned by this guy called Sam Bankman-Fried, and he's basically a guy who became a billionaire off trading cryptos. And he's basically also the guy who owns FTX, which bought out the stadium in Miami, the American Airlines Arena, and it was renamed as FTX Arena. So there are now arenas that are named after crypto projects. And it is also in that same arena where Miami Heat play. In addition, Celsius themselves are also an investor, and they're a huge custodian. That's better than BlockFi in my own opinion, because I was once a customer of BlockFi but moved over all my BTC and Ethereum over to Celsius because the rates that they provide are much better. And lastly, Gemini Frontier Fund, that's owned by Gemini, and Gemini is owned by the Winklevoss brothers, who basically were one of the few who became Bitcoin billionaires because they saw opportunity so early and bought so many Bitcoin so early. So what we see is that there's a lot of people with track record that are investing into 1 inch. So they're seeing something. Hint, hint. That's probably a really good green light that you should probably put a little bit of money into 1 inch as well. Now, the fundraising was conducted via a token sale from the project's ecosystem development fund, and the tokens were basically sold at a flat rate. The latest round was specifically targeted to bring in partners with institutional experience. What does that mean? Say what? Say that again. Institutional experience, which hints that 1 inch is now targeting institutional players, where all the money is at, because the average consumer like you and I, who are broke most of the time, don't have money to feed that crypto addiction. But institutional players, they definitely have the money. 1 inch is basically looking for people and venture capitalists who can help push the whole network forward. And this is something that's really cool. 1 inch is planning to release a protocol insurance product in the next year, as well as offer a series of trials of DeFi products that will be targeted at mainstream financial institutions. So what we do know is we all know that there is a huge wealth disparity. There's a huge wealth gap in America. and pretty much the entire world. And we know where all that money is. All that money is centered at the top. And what 1inch is doing is they're targeting and niching down at these mainstream financial institution guys. So they're dubbing their new product that is aiming to be released next year as 1inch Pro, and that's going to serve the companies around the world in order to help these companies find solutions that are DeFi compliant solutions. And one important thing to mention that was mentioned in this article is that all these banks and financial institutions, these hedge funds, they're all highly interested. But the problem is they've all been really blocked by KYC, which is know your customer, and anti-money laundering requirements. So what they said is that institutions are ready to jump into DeFi, but they need a regulation framework for that, which 1inch is focused on working on in the coming years. So we gotta ask the question, why are hedge funds and banks so highly interested in the DeFi industry? Well, the answer to that is they're like us. They're freaking capitalists. They're just capitalists with a bigger war chest. They all know that the West is in a decline because you just can't go ahead and print money to appease all these woke people. But these people in DC, they have to do that or else they won't get reelected to become politicians. And if they don't get reelected, then they basically lose their jobs. So that's the incentive here. They need to continue printing money to appease all these woke people who just wants a free lunch. But by doing so, the government just digs a deeper hole to themselves. And they're already in too deep. If they print money, then they're screwed. If they don't print money, they're screwed. There's no other option. So everyone who is financially savvy and not brainwashed are looking for hedges. They're getting into assets to hedge against inflation, which is the reason why we might see a 6-figure Bitcoin soon. Because when money is printed, then the government basically steals from all of us. And banks and hedge funds, they know that crypto is probably the only way out because with gold is highly manipulated. People can mine more. With real estate, that can also be manipulated because you can just cut down some trees and build up some building. But with crypto, we know that for most of those cryptos, there's a fixed supply. And when clients see this and the clients see that they are not getting exposure to one of the biggest and fastest growing markets in the history of the world, then these hedge funds, they're gonna lose some clients. And that's bad because their livelihoods is based on making fees off these clients. And if these clients are getting their value, their assets destroyed by inflation, they're gonna go somewhere else. So what you're seeing here is basically the classic mode of 1inch network. So 1inch basically takes the prices across all exchanges to get you the best price when you're trading a pair. So let's say here you're trading Ethereum for a DAI. It will go through the exchanges that exist and get the best price. So like for example, with Uniswap v3, v2, Sushi Swap, Shiba Swap, Balancer, they'll check the prices of all these exchanges and get you the best price from all of them. And they also have other things like pools that you can use. I've never used them before, and they have farming for you to make some extra interest rate. Because look at here, the farming APY here is 21.93, and the one here for Opium and 1inch is 53.85, which is incredible. So this is basically 1inch. It's a DEX aggregator, which basically means we're looking at all exchanges for you when you're making a transaction, when you're making a swap to get you the best price. And you can see right now that things are pretty damn expensive because the gas fees right now is 126 or 118, which is high. So right now it looks like 1inch has a market cap of 1 billion, which is incredible because just like 2 days ago, I believe they were at 600 million. So they appreciated like 400 million over that 2 days, but they have a total value locked of 38 million, which means that their market cap to total value locked ratio is 26.85. And they don't have much of a supply. They have a 1.5 billion supply. So if we go down and look at their all-time high, they're about $8.65, which was about a month ago for their all-time high. And their all-time low was basically almost a year ago at 76 cents, and they really appreciate it. So right now, not financial advice, but if you want to buy in, I think $2.61, looking at where they're gonna go, that's a pretty good buy-in. But please, if you're gonna buy in, do your own research and due diligence because I'm just some naive YouTuber. Like, I know what I'm talking about. So if you're still confused about what 1inch does, imagine you are going to try to buy some butter. And if you live in Americas, you can buy it at Walmart, at Target, at Lidl, at Aldi's, let's say at Whole Foods Market. Now that specific brand of butter will probably be a different price at all of these grocers. So what 1inch does is it looks at all of these grocers, finds the butter that is the cheapest price for you, and then they tell you where to go. So if they say that like Walmart has the cheapest butter for this brand, then they'll send you that butter from Walmart, so you pay the least. So that is what they are as a DEX aggregator. Now, instead of using butter, you replace it with a crypto token, and there you go. That's how they work. Now, they are planning some other things for the institutional players because they will have different needs. So that's what we're looking at going. That's where they're putting that $2.25 billion market valuation. So that's basically all I got for today. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you learned something about 1inch that you're gonna get in, then please, if this helped you, then smash like button, smash the subscribe button, check out these other videos on cryptocurrencies and passive income, and I'll see you next time. Peace!